Somebody come get 'em. They're too old for TikTok.
Hello and welcome to Too Old for TikTok. It's episode 153 and this is dropping on February 29th, a leap year. How do you feel about leap years, Catalina?
About leap year specifically, I don't have any particular feelings. I'd say this leap year, I'm happy because I have something due in February.
Oh, so you get an extra day.
Yeah, although I already emailed them being like, I'll be sending it to you this week or the next. And
Nice.
They didn't care at all. So I'll try to finish it this week. So yeah, it's giving me an extra day to be within my deadline, but it also doesn't matter. How do you feel about leap years?
I think that the government and all businesses, everything, we should get a holiday. It should be just a free non-working day, because I realize I actually don't get paid for working an extra day of the week, because it's like, I think it's based on like I get paid like 2 times per month basically, so that extra day is free. I don't know if that's actually factual.
I don't think that's factual.
That.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, are you paid daily or weekly? Because February is a shorter month anyway. So if anything, you're getting paid more money in February.
I don't know. You know what? That's how I like to think of it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, like, if I ran for mayor or governor or something, my platform would be make any February 29th a bank holiday.
Well, that's kind of like the rent is too damn high guy in New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of arguments against daylight savings time.
Right. That was the whole plot of Veep one year, which was hilarious. And then someone actually did decide to run on that, I think. I forget who it is.
You want to hear a fun fact about the time zone in Spain?
Yes, I'd love to.
The reason that it's on the same time zone as more Western Europe and not like Portugal and England, which are like, England's like directly above it, is because they wanted to be on the same time zone as the Axis powers.
Oh, I mean, that makes sense. Politics.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. It's very interesting.
And that's why the sun is out like
fact.
so late all the time.
I love that though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen any content about February 29th or it being a leap year on TikTok. I did see a lot of content about Puxatawny Phil and what is that called? Groundhog's Day. Yeah, Groundhog's Day. There's always content for that, where people were saying that Groundhog's Day should be like more of a celebration. And there is a certain city that goes out at, it's like, 4 a.m. and parties when the groundhog decides what he decides, if he sees his shadow or not. And I thought that's a fun little celebration. Why not?
I feel like my family, I feel like boomers are really into Groundhog's Day.
Really?
Yeah, I got emails on Groundhog's Day that were like, hey,
from who?
My mom? No, it was texts.
Oh.
I was on a text chain with my mom and her sisters, and they were texting about the groundhog seeing his shadow or not, and about spring, and I was just like, this is some boomer ass content that's coming to my cell phone right now.
That tracks, because I'm basically a boomer. So
yeah, you're a boomer son. Silent generation rising. What was the other one? Boomer
Gen
moon.
Alpha.
You're not Gen Alpha.
Yeah,
You have to, if you want to be Gen Alpha, you have to start saying yacht.
Oh God, I can't even do it.
I get a lot of that on the internet. Yeah, I get a lot of Gen Alpha content on TikTok.
Yeah. The next order of business, we have to pour one out for Flaco, the Eurasian owl. I learned about Flaco on TikTok, and it was a beautiful part of my life, because when I would run in Central Park, I would see so many people photographing Flaco. I got a lot of glimpses of Flaco, and it was sort of this fun thing. Like, if I was in Central Park, would I see the bird? Would I not? And Ivan texts me just randomly out of the blue. He doesn't say hi, hello.
It was also says, 11 p.m.
Yeah, he just says, rip Flaco. It was devastating. Thanks, Ivan.
He did that to multiple people, too. You
Not
weren't
in a group
the only
text,
person that he
individually.
texted individually to let them know that Flaco had died. It's also funny because Ivan is the type of person who, isn't good at texting. I feel like I'm much more, he'll be in a group chat and he'll be the person who's just the ghost in the group chat that'll randomly say something. So the fact that he decided that this was the topic that he needed to text everyone about is really telling.
Just need to add the way Flaco died. I shouldn't be laughing. It's actually so devastating. Flaco flew into a building on 89th Street.
Wow. That glass was just too clean, right?
Wow.
He probably thought he was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just flying into the sky. Sad
Death
day
by
in
one's
New York
own
City.
doing. Rip Flaco.
Okay. Rip Flaco. Moving on to Reesa Teesa. We talked about her last week in her series, Who the Fuck Did I Marry? It's obviously still been blowing up because it got so much attention. So there's more videos about it. But I was really interested to see how much money she made, if any, from the TikTok series. And a creator, Noah Glenn Carter, kind of breaks it down.
Reesa Teesa just shared how much money she made for having the most popular TikTok series of all time. For those unaware, Reesa Teesa is an extremely popular TikToker who made a series that was called Who TF Did I Marry? Now this series had 50 parts, and every single part had millions of views, with some of them having tens of millions of views. Now this caused many people to calculate just how much Reesa made from the series. Some calculations calculated it to be around 80,000, while other people calculated it in the hundreds of thousands. I saw someone claim she made around 400,000 from it. Well, Reesa also saw all of these videos, so she decided to set the record straight. According to her, when she first posted her video, she was not monetized. Then she got monetized for a very short time, but she was kicked out of the creator fund for 30 days because she re-uploaded some of her videos. Which means that so far she has made $0 for having the most popular series in all of TikTok history. Now when you're kicked out of the creator fund, I don't know if you get to keep what you had accumulated before you got kicked out that was unclaimed. So she does get to keep that. She made a couple of thousand, but as far as my knowledge about the creator fund goes, you don't get to keep that. So I believe it still stands at $0.
I saw that one video. Also, I'm not gonna completely roll back what I said last week about these
Legion.
narratives
Yeah.
and being careful about like online witch hunts. But I am now hip to the Reesa Teesa story. I did not watch it because I do not have...
It's a lot of hours.
I do have that much time, but I'm playing a game called Puzzles and Conquests, so I can't...
For swag bucks.
For swag bucks, so I can't dedicate it to Reesa Teesa. But I did see... I watched like a recap video, and I saw that one video in the Noah.
He cited the TikTok.
Cited the one TikTok that he cited where the woman said that she had made 80,000 or so. So
Right.
That's shocking that she comes out and says
Probably
like
zero.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many people saying, give this woman a Netflix special, give this woman this, that, and the other thing. Like, there is a way she will be monetizing this for sure. It's just... that is really sad for her not to.
She has a
make
small
any money
window
on
of
TikTok.
opportunity, though. Like
She does.
She
She's
already
gotta-
told the story, so it's kind of like, are you going to tell the story on a different platform, or are they going to give you like a talk show where you like talk to other people who have
a
been
documentary
in, like, these
deal,
types of...
Dateline.
Yeah.
People like agents will come at, producers will come after her. Like she could get sponsorships. Like, yeah, now's the time to capitalize, but just the fact that to not make money off these millions, maybe at this point billions of views is kind of sad.
Yeah.
There is another video about Reesa Teesa by Mark Sebastian, and he always has the greatest, most funny takes, and this is another one. He decides to hone in on a small detail.
Everyone is so gagged at Reesa Teesa's ex-husband making fake phone calls. They're like, that's crazy. How could he do that? And I'm going, I don't know, babe. Why don't you ask any person who's ever been to Fashion Week? People in fashion have been making fake phone calls for decades. You see the photos of the people walking out of shows, they're like on the phone. Hold on. There are thousands of photos just like this. They are talking to no one. They do it because they want to look busy. They're like, I don't want them to know that I know I'm being photographed, so I'm going to look busy on the phone. You're talking to no one.
I think that the images that accompany this video are very good. My favorite was the two girls walking next to each other, both on the phone. I just love Mark Sebastian's content. As we know, he went on the 9-month cruise, and he's just one of my favorite creators on the platform. And I did not know this about, I'm not like in the fashion world or knowledgeable about the fashion world or anything. So all the fake phone calls when you're doing street fashion photography, that's amazing. I did know there was a lot of like street fashion photography in China specifically, where these like models they're photographed looking like just like walking down the street, but like they're models, and it's very staged. So I guess this is an aspect of these like staged photo shoots, is doing fake phone calls.
Yeah, I also thought this was when people were leaving a fashion event just to see they were busy, not let it was a staged photo.
It's staged in the sense that they know they're going to be photographed.
Oh, exactly.
And so they're trying to act unaware.
Exactly.
They're trying to act
do this all the time too.
Yeah.
Because they also don't want people coming up to them saying, can I take a picture? Can I have your autograph? Because maybe people, if they see they're on their phone, won't actually bother them.
And I liked his point that the most telling aspect of this is no one talks on the phone. Everyone's always texting. So if you really, I mean, if I am...
I talk on the phone.
Yeah, but if I'm trying to avoid someone, I'm just going to pretend I'm texting. I wouldn't be like, like have a full fake conversation. I would I'm trying to avoid eye contact. If I'm trying to avoid eye contact, I'm just going to look down at my phone.
That's hard when you're walking in New York City, because I've definitely tried to avoid a lot of people I see, like people from high school just will randomly be on the same street as me, and I will very much try to avoid them. So you know what? I've never pretended to be on the phone. I have been on the phone, and I've literally just tried look away, look the other direction. Yeah, I'm an avoider. Are you?
Well, it depends. It depends on the scenario. It depends my mood. Yeah. I would say I'm like fairly antisocial in general. I mean, very social. True. No, I'm very social, but like if I'm at work, I very infrequently want to like chat with people. I think like I will chat, but I don't seek out. I think there's this idea of like office culture where you're always chatting by the water cooler. And maybe it's also because I'm like new and I'm not tenured and I'm just like nervous all the time.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm constantly chatting in the office.
That's my own problems. That's why I need a therapist, but I've been trying to get a new one for a while. So I can talk about why I'm always fake texting on my phone. I don't do fake phone calls, but I do fake text messages. But not recently. I will say, one of my most memorable experiences of not me ignoring someone, but someone ignoring me, was when we were in college and I worked at, what's the name of that place? News Bar.
News Bar. Great place.
And this girl I went to high school with came in one day. And I was like, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. She went to college, I think, at, like, some school in Connecticut or something. She was doing an internship in the city. I think she was, like, being sent to pick up lunch or coffees or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm friendly to her. We were never friends.
If you're already
friendly to her,
chatting, then that's, whatever. Like, you can't avoid the person. Yeah. Like, you're already talking.
And also, right. So it goes fine. I think it's fine. But she's very standoffish. And I was like, oh, what's your internship in? She's like, fashion. And I was like, all right. Bitch.
Of course.
This is where she gets I wonder what she's doing these days. But anyway. So that goes fine. Another day, like the next week or later that week, she comes in again. And she sits, I think she had like a to-go order, and she like sat at a table in order to avoid speaking to me.
That's actually unhinged.
And I was like, crazy. Oh my God, you're me. Like there's no reason we don't have beef. We barely, it's just like, say connected. Hey, what is wrong with you?
If someone says hi to me, I'm going to be very friendly and nice, but I want to avoid the initial hi. If it's someone from like high school, I don't want to see.
I also don't really want to talk to you, but if I'm going to avoid you, I'm just not going to go to where this person works.
Absolutely. But these bars so great, she couldn't resist.
Well, I'm sure she was being sent there by her employer.
Oh, so true.
So she had to be there. She was like, I can't
you.
Possibly have another 3-second conversation with Catalina or I'll simply die. Anyway, so I have a grudge towards this woman.
Oh, wow. How did we get here? Well, let's move on. Catalina, your wedding photos were published.
Yes.
This has been the talk of the town.
The talk of the town.
They're gorgeous. You look stunning, beautiful. There's a lot of hysterical photos, specifically Steph Raddick just being in every single photo of yours. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts? Was it fun to relive the day?
Yeah, it's fun to get the photos. I think my mom was very confused because she was like, I thought photographers sent you photos that were limited and with watermarks on them, or like only let you download.
Back in the day,
some of them.
They would do that. Yeah,
and I was like,
not anymore.
No, this man just was like, here you go.
Here's the whole batch. Yeah.
And then another friend of mine was like, why are are there so many? Like, I thought it was supposed to be more curated. And I was like, I mean, I could curate it, but why would I do that? Just like, I'm gonna obviously print an album or print something.
Right, you're not gonna print every photo.
But like, I'm not sitting here making like a Facebook album of curated wedding photos for you all. Just like,
Can you imagine?
If you don't want to look at the duplicates, don't.
Kata's wedding, part 1, part 2. Oh my god, that reminds me when we did our Italy vacation in college and I uploaded 11 parts of Italy trip into Facebook. Those were the days, man.
I know, and the best part is all of those photos are just like
terrible.
You don't even know you're in Italy. You're just like in a dark, smoky room, like making a face, you know? Like there's no Italy in these pictures.
No. Those were the days.
Yeah, it's so funny to look at photos of yourself that are posed because you can really tell someone like myself is not used to posing in photos. Same. I think the photos I like the best are the most natural ones where they're just candids and like our bodies are relaxed. There's this series where they were having me pose like looking back with my bouquet and I just look like someone shoved a butt plug up my butt.
Yeah, we're not the best people to pose in photos. I can't be serious. That's why I made your photographer take a silly picture of us because I knew that's my favorite.
There's some very nice photos of you as well.
Oh, thank you.
Were you pleased with how you appeared in the photographs?
Some photos I said, oh, that's okay. Others I said, oh, I'm a hideous creature. But, you know, I'm self-critical.
That's also just candids. It's just like anytime you're not moving your body. One of my favorite photos from the series is we did a group photo with my friends from home and we lifted Ivan up, but it's as we're lifting Ivan up and it looks like he's funny. Like Jesus descending from the cross. It's really good.
Yeah, so this is a perfect segue because I feel like our algorithms, both of them, are showing us a lot of wedding content.
Always.
So
you can't get off of it.
And for me, it's been recent. I think because like you've been sending me stuff. Like we're of that age. We're women of a certain age.
Women of a certain age. Well, I worked really hard not to get, as we've talked about on the podcast, I worked really hard to avoid the wedding content on TikTok specifically, but it still seeps through.
Of course. Yeah, exactly. So the first video I got on my algorithm this week about weddings is by the Balkan Barbie.
So apparently the newest wedding trend in my area is giant robots. I live in South Jersey and I'm planning a 2026 wedding. There's a thread on the South Jersey brides group. It's like, oh, what do you regret spending too much money on and what do you not regret spending money on? And people keep bringing up, oh, I'm so happy that I spent money on the robot. And so I'm like, what is the robot? I'm thinking that it's like that 360-degree camera that they do on the red carpets and stuff. No. They mean an actual robot. Well, it's like a man in like a 10-foot tall robot suit, but I'm being dead serious. And now that I know that they shoot tequila out of their arms, I'm not sure, do I need one? Should I be budgeting for that? I feel like I would like to cut corners if that means I would get a giant LED robot. But it is the most aggressively New Jersey thing I've ever seen. If I was at Bar A in 2015, I absolutely would have expected to see a giant tequila robot. I need y'all to tell me if this is worth it. I need y'all to talk me out of this because I'm literally about to put it into my budget.
So yeah, these giant robot LEDs are apparently all the rage in Jersey weddings. I've never been to a wedding with a robot. Have you?
So I wanted to text you this, but I decided to save it for the podcast. This is old news in Latin America. This is the LED robot is all over Mexican weddings and
I had no
Latin
idea.
American weddings. Yeah. So I remember very vividly, actually, I was not at this wedding, but in Austin, this guy that I knew married a girl who was either Mexican or Mexican American, and they had these robots at their weddings. And this was in their wedding. And I would say this was in 2013, 2014. So it's not that it's a new thing. It's just that it's newly popular.
It's reached New Jersey.
In New Jersey. Exactly. In a specific demographic in New Jersey.
Right. I was very much like lost. I was like, oh, I would never get this until
they're awesome.
She said that they shoot shots at people, like shots of alcohol.
Yeah.
Which, on my 30th birthday, one of my friends brought a like small water gun that was filled with tequila so she could shoot it in people's mouths. Like, that's just fun.
Yeah. I think
it's a good time.
Traditionally, U.S. American weddings that are, I'm not gonna include Jewish weddings in this. Okay. I'm gonna say like your regulation white American wedding is kind of subdued.
Oh yeah, Jewish weddings are not subdued.
No, exactly. Right. And I would say like a lot of different like cultural and ethnic groups and whatever and would have much more rowdy weddings.
Yeah.
But a lot of these American weddings are 4 hours long, hard stop at like 10 p.m. And there's dancing and there's eating, but some of them don't even dance. There's not this like crazy idea of like entertainment and everything. And so I think this is bleeding out of these other groups that have these like very festive weddings into now New Jersey culture. White American New Jersey culture. So it's fantastic. Not new at all, but is anything ever new? But yeah, it's new to funny. Jersey.
Right.
And I encourage that girl to get it.
I would say, yeah, if it's in the budget, yeah, she's got to get it.
Well, my cousin works for a movie theater. He's like in marketing for this movie theater in Argentina. And so for his daughter's quinceañera, they had Iron Man. And so for a minute, similar. He was like, do you want me to have like a character come to your wedding? And I was like, yeah, Shrek. And honestly, that would have been amazing.
It would have been amazing.
I know.
But I would say I would want a character only if they were serving shots.
You only want a character late night. You don't want a character like roaming around at happy
It's like
hour.
When grandma's gone home.
Yeah, grandma's gone. Shrek comes out. And everyone's like, why is Shrek at your wedding? And you're like, well, why not?
Why not? Yeah, love it. Okay, the next video is by Corey Faye. It's about her 30th birthday, making these giveaway boxes for people who are attending to go to Morocco for her
like
30th
invitation
birthday.
Boxes.
Yes.
I'm hosting my 30th birthday in Marrakesh, Morocco, and I wanted my invite boxes for my friends to feel like a PR box, so come pack a few of them with me. I found these boxes off of Amazon, and I used a Cricut to print the Meet Me in Marrakesh, the inside, and then their names on the outside. Starting off with a face mask for the flight, loops are one of my favorites. And of course, with the red-eye flight, you can't go wrong with a nice sleeping mask. Morocco's famous for their mint tea, so I put in this sample mint tea from Mem Tea and a little tea glass, as well as some hand sanitizer, Moroccan oil hand cream, and this Moroccan mint tea candle that smells so good.
Okay, so this is whatever. This reminded me of my 30th birthday in Austin, where it was just like nothing like this. Obviously, this is extremely over the top and like good for her and her friends who could afford this.
Have you seen this before? Like, I've seen, in fact, this kind of inspired me for the Bachelorette, where I was like, oh, that's so cute. Like, I want to do like a present for the Bachelorette, because I had seen a video of a girl who had gotten her friends for either a Bachelorette or something. Like, she was like, I went on AliExpress and bought bucket hats and sunglasses and all this whatever.
Right, that's why you did bucket hats.
You need like 6 months of foresight in order to order that stuff and get it mailed from China. And it's also, it really adds up. Like, each specific item is not that expensive. Although in this girl's, like, some of that stuff was expensive. She's, like, giving them a candle.
Glasses,
I was like, you get one thing that's $10 for 14 people. That's $140.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, 10 times 14? Yes.
Yeah,
140.
Okay, just checking.
Good job. Yay, math. Okay, but the main thing about this video, I saw it, I said, whatever, it's interesting, intriguing. Okay, the search bar came up was Paris Bachelorette drama. So I go, oh, I have to click in. I have to see what is the Paris Bachelorette drama. So I click in and I see this video. It's by the user Leo Rising 10. Okay, so this is so sad. Like, no one came to this girl's Bachelorette, but obviously she shut off the comments because they were probably like, yeah, like you can't expect people to pay to go to Paris to go to your Bachelorette. That's super expensive. And like, how not self-aware are you to be posting a video about this?
It really depends on like your friends, socioeconomic standing. People were reacting in such a way that was like, it indicated that there's so much to the story that was missing, because I was like, had it been that this girl was just so unaware, like unself-aware, that, I don't know if I'm using the right word, that's why I'm giggling, that she invited a bunch of people who can't, I was imagining a rich influencer, which she is not, inviting a bunch of friends, and the friends are like, I can't afford this. But there was no explanation, right? You actually don't know why these girls didn't go on The Bachelorette.
Right. So there's a lot of assumptions that need to be made, but it is just really sad, like, to admit that none of your friends went on a bachelorette party, to admit it to all of TikTok seems pretty sad to me. Sure, this girl must be going through a lot, but like, I'd keep that to myself.
Well, I did some more digging because I needed to know more. And so first of all, this girl's entire profile seems like aspirational influencer content without the numbers. And I think that a lot of people do this, where they post as if they are influencers without really getting a ton of traction, until
that's their
hopefully
goal.
one day it'll hit. And so one aspect in this influencer marketing space is the question and the idea of vulnerability. They're always talking about like, being vulnerable with your followers, and like engaging with your followers and being raw and like whatever. So I think she's trying that, right? But then I realize I get to a video, or one of her like most recent videos. I gotta go check in on this girl, actually. One of her most recent videos, and it was like her wedding's off.
Yeah.
And she got kicked out of her house.
Yeah.
And I
it
was
just
like,
gets worse
excuse
and worse
me?
for this poor girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that sheds new light on this whole bachelorette scenario, because she calls the ex abusive, and it's like,
maybe her
everyone
friends
is assuming,
didn't support the marriage. Yeah.
Exactly. Everyone is assuming that this is about finances and someone being very unaware, what is the word? Unself-aware?
Not self-aware?
Not self-aware?
No, I don't know.
Whatever.
We get it though.
But actually, it could be about people being disapproving of the relationship, and like thinking that she was in a bad and like toxic, and not wanting to celebrate this relationship.
Marriage.
Yeah. Which is also very sad. So it doesn't stop being sad.
It doesn't stop being sad for this girl. I hope she's doing better now. It's like good for her for getting out of this abusive relationship. And I guess like I'm glad she's posting on TikTok, because obviously like we're talking about it, but it's just, to me it seems I wouldn't do it myself. I'm not as vulnerable.
Right.
Also,
and
hopefully I wouldn't be in that position.
Not to be whatever as I am usually, but I think this is a lesson in how people create these narratives on TikTok, because and fully believe them and fully buy into them without having with only having
no context,
a fraction of the story, because we made it here from this birthday boxes video where everyone's like flaming the person for being rich, basically, which is like frequent on TikTok, whatever. And on that video, you come to believe that this girl had a bachelorette party that was over the top expensive, and no one went to it because of that. And everyone is just like reiterating that story, regurgitating that story, spreading that story throughout the platform. When in fact, if you go to the source material, different story.
This is why you have your PhD and you're so good at media consumption.
I'm so good at media consumption.
I'm giving you a compliment. Just take it.
Every day. No.
Okay.
But you know what I can't do? Figure out what the word unself-aware is.
And you also can't multiply 14 by 10?
All right. I just want to make sure I didn't make a mistake.
Okay. Well, let's move on to your algorithm, which also has wedding content. So.
Ay. We're going to alienate people with all this wedding content. Anyway. Okay.
This is the last one.
This is the last one, I promise. I got this video by @Shalem Harrington about a wedding etiquette question.
There's this girl going viral on the internet right now because she flew all the way out to Scotland for one of her friends' weddings just to find out that she wasn't invited to eat dinner with all of the other wedding guests. The ceremony's beautiful as expected, and after the ceremony, they remind everybody to go out to this other venue for the reception dinner. When they arrive for the dinner, they notice that there are seating charts at the entrance. So they're looking at the seating chart, trying to find their names on it to figure out where they need to sit. All of a sudden, the security person walks up and asks them to see their invitation. The security guy lets them know that while they're not invited to the dinner, they can come back in an hour when the dinner's over to come dance and enjoy cocktails. But what do you guys think about this? Is it weird to not invite your guests to dinner?
I actually, besides talking about the etiquette aspect of this, think that this is a good example of something you see on TikTok a lot in terms of content creation, which is summarizing on this platform or adapting to this platform existing, whether it be Reddit threads, like Am I the Asshole threads, whether it be all the blind items websites, or in this, I don't actually really remember where this came from originally, but what I see a lot on TikTok is people who blow up for just gathering and reporting information that already exists.
Right. Well, that's what this podcast does, is we're curating TikTok content. So we're basically, that's all what we're consuming is.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Just reiterating and summarizing other content. But I guess what...
But with our fire takes.
With our fire takes. But it's an interesting aspect of the platform where people will summarize articles or summarize...
I love, by the way, I love those TikToks.
Well, you notoriously hate reading.
I notoriously hate reading. So I will not read a New Yorker article. They're so long. But if someone summarizes it for me on TikTok, like, thank you. I learned a lot.
Yeah. TikTok is the calculator of our generation. Okay, but anyway, so that's one aspect of this that isn't wedding themed. What was your reaction to the actual story?
I'm appalled. Like, if you have people coming to your wedding in Scotland, you need to at least make sure all of them go to a dinner. That is ludicrous.
I can't even imagine the, like, mental gymnastics that got that person there. So
yeah,
that's
crazy.
why it's like, I don't even think there's much to talk about because it's just so ridiculous.
Yes. All right. What else has been on your algorithm?
Okay, so I'm always getting, well, not always, but I frequently get scam content where people are talking about getting scammed or people trying to scam them and MLMs. So I recently got this video by @Julia Steenland about a rising MLM scheme.
Let's do some skincare while I tell you how I got convinced to work for a pyramid scheme and move from Michigan to Nashville. I had just graduated from Michigan State University with a degree in marketing. The marketing job market just sucks. It's hard to get a job. I was applying everywhere. I really wanted to move to Nashville. So this little marketing firm had reached out to me and they were like, we like your resume, and I applied. And while I was actually in Vegas for my graduation trip, I got a call from them and they offered me the job. So I moved to Nashville, I'm all settled in my apartment, and it's my first day of work. So I go into the office and it was already pretty sketchy. It was like not a finished office, a bunch of construction going on. So at first I was like, this is weird. This just graduated little girl looking for a corporate job. I was like, oh, this is normal. This is just probably how it's supposed to be. So I get there and they start teaching these principles of marketing and selling, and it was kind of like a basic, I guess, introductory day. So I was like, okay, like, this is fine. I come back the next day, and this is where it gets crazy. Put us into groups with people that had already worked there, and they're like, okay, you're gonna go to your stations now. I was like, stations? The head lady goes, yeah, one of you's at Staples, one of you's at Kroger, Publix. I'm like, what do you mean? So I get in my group, and need I remind you, nobody had a car. So I'm the one who had to drive this group to the so-called grocery store, which, keep in mind, I don't know why we're going to a grocery store for a marketing job. Get to the grocery store, and the girl leading me takes out a foldable table, sets the table up. We're standing outside the table all day, asking people for donations. At a grocery store. Like, literally donations to like this wildlife fucking save the planet. I don't even know what we were asking people for. And it's July in Nashville. So I'm sweating and I'm like, I got scammed. I left. I went back to the office to the main girl. I said, may I please have my paperwork back? And later that evening, I decided to reach out to her and send her an email. And I was like, this is nothing like you are offering these poor post-grad students coming out of college, looking for a marketing job, eager to start in this field. And they're just screwing them over. And I'm just like here to warn you, if you ever feel sketchy about a job, think it's a pyramid MLM, it probably is. Just make sure you do your research. Before I even started this whole thing, in my head it was a little too good to be true. But I just went along with it. And the best part of that entire story is the one day I went into the office, I got a $60 parking ticket because they didn't supply parking.
Something that I've noticed about these videos is a lot of them end up, not this video specifically, but a lot of these MLM type videos are people speculating about whether or not they're being human trafficked.
Oh,
and then
I wasn't
actual
seeing where that went.
And then actual human trafficking activists are like, this is very harmful. This is like very harmful content because it's making
I've never
people
seen
think,
that. Okay.
It's making people think that human trafficking comes in this form specifically,
Like MLM
when
form.
it's or like someone's coming up to you in Target. And I wish I had the video on hand of this girl who described exactly this sort of scene of like a girl trying to befriend her and talk to her in a Target.
Okay, but
we'll talk about this girl's job.
Yeah, but
This is
you're
different.
talking about, so this part of the video that you're talking about is she, for part of her job, was sent to a grocery store with a folding table to ask for donations.
And she was like told that it was a marketing job.
Right. So she was like, this is not what I'm meant to be doing. So what you're saying, Catalina, is that a lot of other people's content, when they say they're like set up in a grocery store or Target or whatever with a folding table and ask people stuff, it's a way for human trafficking. Okay.
I messed up the story.
Okay.
So this is a different and this is kind of like you like seeing the different perspectives on TikTok. So this is a different perspective of this kind of scammy behavior that is happening at box stores that is connected to MLMs. So in this specific instance, it's a woman who thinks she gets a job that's in marketing and ends up being sent to this box store to talk to people at a folding table and ask for donations. And she is kind of like, what even am I doing?
Right.
The
This is not
other
the job
side
I
of
signed up
this is videos that I've gotten that are more like girls talking about how they were inside a Target. So there's no folding table in this scenario. They're inside a Target and a girl comes up and starts talking to them and they think they're like making friends. And then the girl will be like talking about financial freedom a lot. And then they like try to get their phone number.
Oh my God, I've never seen any of these videos.
But then interestingly, some of these videos, the people start speculating that it's about human trafficking. And then the whole comments section goes off about how it's human trafficking. But if you dig a little deeper, it's really not. It's MLMs. And so people have this like instinct to be like, it's human trafficking. And so you also find the videos by human trafficking activists who are like, no this is actually like very harmful.
I see. Okay. Now that makes more sense. I wasn't sure how you got to human trafficking
I'm sorry.
from this girl's video, but okay, we got there.
There's a lot of jumps, but it all comes back together.
I actually checked up on this girl because it's a sad story. Like she was straight out of college. She thought she had this great job. It turned out to be a scam. And so she quit within the first day. Good for her. But she still had to figure out a way to pay her rent. So what ended up happening, she got a job in service at one of the bars or restaurants in Nashville. And she said it was great. She met so many people. And now she does have an actual job in marketing. Mm-hmm. And she's like, it wouldn't change it because it brought her to where she is now. So just a happy ending there. So I was happy to see that update.
I'm also kind of interested in my algorithm, why I'm being pushed this type of content and also really a lot of human trafficking content, which
I don't get any human trafficking content.
But it's also so strange because you end up, I saw one video one time that was like a girl talking about having a zip tie tied to her
Oh,
car.
I did see that a while ago. Yeah.
And this was a while ago. And so you're totally convinced by it. And then I looked it up, and it's like a common sort of like hysteria, and it's fake. It's not real.
Right.
But people have this fear around human trafficking and these narratives that they create around human trafficking when there's actually real explanations for these things that are harmful. And that's how you end up in QAnon.
Mic drop, period. Wow. We got from MLMs to human trafficking to QAnon. We love the journey.
All right. Then in a very different video by It's Brittany Davila, she talks about corporate American lingo.
Hi, my name is Brittany, and I used to be a teacher and now am an executive assistant working for people in corporate America. And these are the words that I've learned that I had no idea what they meant until now. And I still kind of don't. I'm just learning as I go and pretending that I knew the word that they're using. The first one, I did write them down. The first one is ping. Ping means like alert me. Just ping me. Ping me on Friday if I haven't got back to you. Massage. Still learning this one based on the context of what they're telling me. So like if there's a follow-up and you didn't follow up with this person and it's been like a couple months, you just gotta massage it. Circulate. We don't send anything anymore. We circulate it. So I want you to circulate that Zoom calendar invite. Thank you so much. And deck. There's no such thing as PowerPoints in the corporate world. Everything is a deck. So I need you to send me this deck. So I'm just out here learning, you guys.
Okay, Catalina, you're not in a corporate job. You're a professor. You work for a university. Do you use this lingo as well, or are you learning about this from this video? You don't use it, no. Okay.
I do not use it. I am familiar with it, and I think
Right.
that every industry has their vocabulary.
Yeah, for sure.
But I am familiar with it also because I have one friend in particular who actually, Ashley, friend of the pod, had to tell her, please stop talking to me in regular life with corporate lingo.
Your corporate, I can guess what friend that is.
Just because she's like so used to speaking that way that she'll be
right,
like,
it bleeds into your everyday language.
yeah. And Ashley was
Yeah.
like, do not say circle back to me.
Yeah, when making plans to go to a bar.
Yeah. What about you? Do you use this lingo in your job?
I try not to. It's funny, when I went to business school, I definitely heard a lot more of it because I think in more corporate, I work for a small company now, but in more corporate environments, people who went to business school, work for hedge funds or banks and finance things, and they used a lot of it. One thing that really bothers me is the word ping. I actually used that today in an email because someone else did. They said, I'll ping them. And I was like, oh, I just already pinged them.
What is
So
ping again?
Like remind. Like I'll reach out. Remind,
I thought that it had
you know.
to do with like ping because it was like they'll get a notification.
Nope. No. It's just like I'm going to remind you to do something or I'm going to reach out to you.
Oh, I don't like that.
But I think it does come from BlackBerry maybe, because could you send a ping with a BlackBerry? I don't know. I've never had a BlackBerry.
We just
It
use
might.
words like I'll contact them.
Right. I'll reach out. Yeah. Great. Yeah.
One thing that I have vehemently refused over the years is to sign my emails with best.
Oh, me too. Hate
But
that.
now sometimes I'm like, ugh. I say sincerely in every email and I'm just like, it's
Ew,
too much.
Why do you do that? That's
Well, what else am I
terrible,
going to
Catalina.
say?
I say thanks.
What if I don't want to thank them? What if I'm not thanking
Too
them?
bad.
No, absolutely not.
Just do dash, Catalina.
It is funny to see different professors. They're like absurd. Someone
Ew,
recently wrote to
sincerely,
me
Catalina?
onward. And I was like,
Oh,
okay.
I've seen that a lot. Yeah.
Onward.
Onward. All the very best.
Should I start writing cheers?
Oh, people do that. I've seen that.
Cheers.
Remember when like iPhones would, if it say like sent from my iPhone and people wouldn't delete that? Like that was so dumb.
I mean, it still does that.
It does?
Yeah.
Oh.
It still says that.
Oh,
And I
feel
don't
like that
delete
was a way
it.
of the past.
They better know. Stay knowing.
That it was sent for your iPhone?
Well,
Wow.
like in Outlook, if you're sending something on Outlook from your phone, it'll say something like Outlook Mobile.
Yeah, but you could change that.
I don't know how to, and I do not want to spend the time learning.
Wow.
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 Wow, we don't see eye to eye on this, I guess.
one word that's very much, I think, like entertainment industry, because on set there's a whole lingo. When you're on walkie-talkies, like it's basically a different language, but copy that. And so it bleeds into emails in the entertainment industry. And then in life, I try not to say it because I hate it. Like, have you ever heard that? Someone say copy?
Like if you had a walkie-talkie.
Right. But in emails, I get, if someone's asking someone to do something, they'll respond, copy.
Now I want to look
They're
at
just
my
like
emails
noted.
and see what I've recently received. No, it would take me a minute to think about like our specific vocabulary, but I know.
Well, sincerely is tragic.
I'm sorry. Give me let me know what I should be signing my emails with that's not sincerely.
Thanks. All
I'm
the
not
very best
thanks.
wishes.
I'm not thanking these people.
Okay. Let's
Das
move on.
Vidanya.
Okay.
Sometimes I say warmly.
Ew. Ew, I think warmly's worse than sincerely. Because are you warm? You should say coldly. Sincerely is cold, actually. So you should sign off coldly.
Wishing you the very best.
Okay, moving on to one of our fave sections.
Stitch.
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 Stitch. Stitch. Stitch. Catalina, you've actually been sending me so many of this user's videos for the past few weeks, but we finally have time to talk about her. The user's Tanya, and this stitch is a really good one. It's the user Irene K. Otis.
Today, ask your man what's something he's scared of, and if he doesn't say losing.
What's something you're scared of?
What?
What's something you're scared of?
What's something that I'm scared of? The Amish.
I love Tanya. She should be a content creator spotlight. This is Stitch/content creator spotlight.
Yeah, true. You're right.
Because all of her videos are some sort of scenario, and then she's like, I think you should start a fight. Which I just, chef's kiss. Great, short, punchy, hilarious. But
the response of the Amish is so good.
So good.
It's just so unexpected. I love.
I know, and it's not like necessarily, I feel like if someone just asked me out of the blue, what am I afraid of? I'd be like, death. Like it's not funny. Like the Amish is funny.
Right.
The Amish is a funny fear.
Objectively funny.
That's an objectively funny fear. I need to remember to do this to Ivan.
I need to remember to do it to Ben, and then we'll report back.
Okay, perfect.
Great. Okay, well, we have just two little topics left. The first is just we've been seeing, or at least I've been seeing so much content about JLo's new movie on Amazon and how it's ridiculous and like you need to watch it when you're drunk. And it's just, this seems like this crazy thing. Also, she paid for it herself.
I watched it last night.
No, you didn't.
I watched it. I watched it last night.
You did your homework.
I did.
Tell us.
Everyone that I was with, I think that, okay, how do I even begin? Everyone that I was with was like angrily talking about how bad it was. I was living my best life. It was so bad.
You had fun.
I mean, I had fun. Some parts were actually very boring. Like some aspects, the songs, boring. The plot, deranged.
There was a plot? I didn't think there was even a plot. I thought it was just
a plot.
Music video-ish.
I think she thought she was doing like Lemonade.
Oh no.
It's honestly, it's really.
Were you drunk or high while watching?
I was not. I had some wine.
You were sober?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I wasn't sober. I was having some wine, but I drank more wine as I watched it because I was like, I cannot be enjoying this film.
It's completely sober. You need to be lubed up.
My main question is, are people, I was thinking like, this is tacky in such a way that people might be like, yes, pop off, be your most delusional self. But my friends disagreed and were like, this is so bad, it's not even good enough or interesting enough to be considered like camp. But I don't necessarily agree. Camp. I don't agree with them.
I've been enjoying watching the TikTok clips of it. I'm not going to watch this. Like, it's only an hour. Not in the cards for me. Oh, it still doesn't sway me. I'd rather just see the clips on TikTok because they're so funny. Because I like people reacting to them too. That's just a part of it.
Yeah, we have a video by @NickGillery talking about the J.
Well, he's just
reacting
laughing,
to
basically.
the J-Lo bill.
What is happening? Yo! No way.
I mean, and that's the thing. It's just there's these transitions that just thematically make no sense. Ben Affleck is in it.
Oh, that's great, actually.
Oh, actually, there's so many famous people in it. Post Malone is in it. Keke Palmer, Sofia Vergara, Trevor Noah. Like, this girl was just like, take my money. Oh, Jane Fonda.
Oh, wow. And she financed it herself because she was proud of the fact. She's like, no one wants to pay for this, so I'm going to pay for it myself.
I mean, it's pretty evident. Oh, Fat Joe.
Oh.
Huge role.
Wow.
Huge role.
I recommend
it.
Still not going to watch it, though.
Okay, speaking of not watching it,
right.
I do not watch Love is Blind.
I know, and I do, and it's so good. Last season, I couldn't get through like one episode, but this season, both me and Ben are watching and loving. So obviously, like, it's on my TikTok, but actually you sent this TikTok by Cecilia Regina 275, and it's talking about the beauty standards in reality TV now. So she's talking about Love is Blind, and then she shows pictures of the Bachelor contestants.
With the new season of Love is Blind, there's a huge conversation happening about who is the most beautiful, but nobody's talking about the elephant in the room, which is how much beauty standards have changed. This is part of the first season of The Bachelor. These women are all pretty, but they look like ordinary human beings. This is the cast of the current season of The Bachelor. But if you look at their faces, they are all extraordinarily beautiful. Like, exceptionally beautiful. But even though reality TV was never about reality, it used to be selling you a slice of life. And the change in beauty standards is not just limited to reality TV shows. Not too long ago, movie stars were people who looked above average, but not frighteningly so, and who were portrayed as ordinary human beings in movies. Men and women who looked like regular people were once upon a time on the silver screen. And in just the last 15 years, the beauty standard has risen so precipitously, and ordinary women are expected to spend as much money and time as movie stars being beautiful. And if you don't obtain that mythical status, men who look like this and wear loafers with no socks will judge you less worthy of love. It's probably a function of late-stage capitalism combined with our overconsumption of social media, but how did we get here?
I was thinking about this a little bit with, I guess this video had me thinking about it, and then all the other content that I've seen about sort of the like homogenization of Hollywood actors in terms of the way they look, and how a lot of this is different, but period pieces seem weird because the actors do not have unique faces. They just have these like CW faces. And so I think this is kind of like that. We're just seeing beauty standards and access to forms of beautification that's really making everyone look like a different flavor of
the same. Yeah. It's really interesting because one of the big controversy this season is there's a girl who said that she looked like Megan Fox. Her name's Chelsea Blackwell. And she posted a TikTok about it.
This would be a great time for the people who have ever told me that I resembled her to come forward. Please, I'm begging you.
So she got a lot of backlash. I actually see the resemblance to her and Megan Fox. Like, it's fine. But it's just funny because people were going real hard for her for saying that.
I've seen a lot of discourse about it. And one, I don't know why, I saw it on Facebook because, as you know, I like to open Facebook, see what I'm served. I don't know why I'm getting served so much Love is Blind stuff. I don't watch it, but my entire algorithm has been Love is Blind. I know everything about that show right now. But this one person was like, Chelsea was wrong because she intentionally manipulated him because this is a show that's not supposed to be about looks, and she talked about her looks. And I'm like, again, go touch grass.
Yeah, exactly. People getting so angry.
Please get a life. Like, why are you writing a manifesto about Love is Blind on the internet right now?
I was thinking about what you were talking about in terms of people reading Reddit and then regurgitating things they hear in different formats. So Ben is now like obsessed with the subreddit for Love is Blind. And like, I'm obviously trying to seek out TikToks about it. So there is this aspect that just make the show more fun because we're all watching this discourse and listening to this discourse, including you, who you don't even watch the show.
Right, because it has this life beyond the show. It's not just a show, it's an event. It's not just what you see on the screen. It's also about the
memes, the discussion,
everything that's being produced surrounding that. And this was kind of like when we were talking about the Grammys, where I was like, that was the first time I had seen like the source material in so long. Because I haven't seen Love is Blind, but I'm pretty engaged.
You're in tune. You know who Chelsea is. You know who,
in the secondary sources.
Exactly. Well, that's a great way to end this lovely episode. Thank you for listening, and please share, rate, review, subscribe.
Bye.